Hey USHL fans, Josh Starr here, and welcome to another edition of the U Show. As the playoffs are quickly approaching, we have another great show for you this week. We'll get you the players of the week and the top plays as we always do, and we'll really take a deep dive into the standings and what the results from last weekend mean for the playoffs. We'll also take a look at a couple of matchups this coming weekend that will have a big impact on seeding come the playoffs. We'll start the show right now though with the USHL Players of the Week. The USHL Forward of the Week is Michael Messick from the Youngstown Phantoms. In a sweep over the Fargo Force, Messick led the way for the Phantoms. 2 goals on Friday, and he added his first career hat trick in the win on Saturday. 22 goals now this season leads the Youngstown Phantoms. The USHL Defenseman of the Week is Maxon Vig from the Cedar Rapids Rough Riders. 2 goals and 3 points with a +5 rating in 2 wins over the U17s. A goal and an assist in the 7-1 win on Friday, and then another goal on Saturday for Cedar Rapids. Overall, 10 goals and 29 points for Vig. The USHL Goaltender of the Week is Caleb Heil from the Madison Capitals. With a .943 save percentage over 2 appearances, Heil made 43 saves in a win on Saturday and then 39 saves in a loss on Sunday, both in Muskegon against the Lumberjacks. Overall, Heil is 24-9-1-1 with a .902 save percentage and a 2.69 goals against average. Those are your USHL Players of the Week. Now let's get into last week's action and a couple of big series that impacted the playoff push. We'll start with the Madison Capitals taking on the Muskegon Lumberjacks last weekend for 3 games. In a huge 3-game series in the Eastern Conference, Madison visited Muskegon for 3 games and the Capitals won 2 of them, both on Friday and Saturday to kick off the series. A 6-2 win on Friday with Mason Moe, a goal and 3 points. Saturday, a 5-2 victory led by 2 Diego Johnson tallies. The Lumberjacks responded on Sunday with a 3-2 win and 2 goals in the 3rd period, along with 20 saves from Shikabutin Gadziev. Both of those teams now just 2 points apart. Madison in first place with 80 points and the Lumberjacks in 3rd with 78. Also near the top of the Eastern Conference, a sweep for the Youngstown Phantoms at home over the Fargo Force last weekend. In a 6-1 win on Friday, Jamison Slies had 3 assists and Michael Messick had the pair of goals. On Saturday, a 5-3 win where Youngstown trailed 3-0 early but came back by the end of the first to tie it, and a winner by Landon Resendez early in the 3rd gave Youngstown the win. The Phantoms are now 2 points back of a bye in the Eastern Conference, and as a reminder, the top 2 teams in each conference get a bye in the first round of the playoffs. Youngstown knocking on the door of that position. Wrapping up the Eastern Conference recap with the Dubuque Fighting Saints, who are a point back of first place Madison in 2nd place in the Eastern Conference. The only game the Saints played last weekend, a 5-4 overtime win in Green Bay. The Saints came back from down a goal twice in the 3rd, and Gavin Cornforth won it in overtime for the Saints. Over in the Western Conference, the Lincoln Stars only playing 1 game this weekend as well, but it was a 6-2 win over the Des Moines Buccaneers at home. 6 different goal scorers for the Stars, and now 84 points, leading the Anderson Cup race by 3 over the Sioux Falls Stampede. The Stampede split 2 games this past weekend and are now 1 point away from clinching a bye in the first round of the Western Conference playoffs. Sioux Falls with 2 games on the road in Green Bay this weekend. In many matchups, it already feels like playoff hockey here in the USHL coming up on the month of April. Now, let's get to a conversation with a player who's having a big impact on his team's playoff push. We're joined by Dubuque Fighting Saints forward Gavin Cornforth. Gavin, the start with last weekend, the overtime goal for you guys in the middle of this playoff push, and you have a couple overtime goals the last month or so, and being able to show up in some big moments. What did that win mean for this team?
Yeah, it's definitely a huge win for the team. We're fighting for a bye now. We've been in first for a lot of the year, and at the end of the year, it definitely gets tough. Teams are fighting for spots in playoffs, and I think that win was definitely huge for the team.
For you, on a personal note, the 50th point of the season for you, first time reaching that mark, and an experienced player on this team, what is it like for you to be able to accomplish that feat for the first time?
Yeah, it's obviously a cool accomplishment, but I mean, it's obviously a lot of hard work. I've been here for a while now, so I think it was awesome, and hopefully I can keep getting some points.
Talk about being here for a while, part of the group last year, and being able to have a long playoff run. And a lot of other guys with experience on this team.
Yeah.
What can those guys do to help this team down the stretch in the last few games and into the playoffs?
Yeah, experience is definitely huge. We made it to the finals last year, and obviously a big part of making the finals is definitely having a really tight team. So, us veterans, we've just tried to bring the team together as much as possible, and I think that'll carry forward into the playoffs.
For the playoffs, obviously attention to detail really important in those big games. For you guys, the last handful of games, maybe some mistakes at times.
Yeah.
How can you make sure you dial it in for a full 60?
I think some mistakes we've had, I think we can just focus on some video and doing systems in practice. It's not some big things, it's definitely some little things we need to take care of, but I think we'll definitely be ready.
3-4 games left in the regular season. What's the thing that gives you confidence about this team going into the playoffs?
Like I said, we have such a tight team this year. We have a lot of returning guys, which is huge, who have been through it before. So I think that's definitely a big thing, and obviously we're a great team just in general.
All right, that's Gavin Cornforth, 25 goals, 50 points, both leading the Fighting Saints this season. This time of year, teams always look for big moments from their players, and this week was no different. The top plays of the week this week featuring a couple of huge goals for teams in the playoff race, and here they are, the USHL top plays of the week.
And now here comes Mason Moe. Kicks out for Lee. Lee fires, he scores! Riker Lee, his 62nd point of the season. At Madison, they lead 3-1. Take a look at the MLive replay. Watch Moe enter the offensive zone, drops off for Lee. Moe keeps the defenseman walking backwards towards the net. It allows just the slimmest of shooting lanes.
Team squad cleared back out to the neutralized area, tipped ahead. Picked up now by Zajac, who brings it in, shot to goal!
Here's Rombach behind the Lincoln cage. Brings the puck far side, pumped down, far wall. Eachin into the neutral zone. Schlane looking north. Saucer pass ahead for Anderson. Behind the defense. Anderson dangles and scores! What a move! Hunter Anderson. It's 4-0 Lincoln with 45.3 to go here in the first.
For the Fighting Saints, trying to joust for playoff positioning. They win the draw. Barrett rips. He scores! Michael Barrett with a laser. His third straight game with a goal. And his 21st of the season ties the game with 3:42 to play.
Leaves up top. Over it goes Green in deep. There's a shot and a goal! Gino Carcone ties it.
Neutralized area, Jackson Marthaler will clear it down into the Riders zone. But cleared along the board's left-hand side. Riders pick it up there. This is cleared out into the neutralized area. Head for Jason Musa. Musa got it across. Shot to goal. Robert Shawan.
Zellers coming back the other way. Puck pops high into the air and into the right corner. Park is after it. Zellers is there. Zellers for Carcone! And they lead!
Down to the blue line. Hawkins avoids a check from Moore. Now turns up the ice to the offensive zone. Centers when Compton scores! Here come the Hawks! Dylan Compton suddenly was right there, shoulder to shoulder, receiving the pass from Hawkins and letting go of a quick chance up under the crossbar over a diving Esch. And here come the Hawks.
At 30 seconds into overtime for the Fighting Saints. Left to right. Cornforth on the drop feed. Into the offensive zone with speed to the right. Far circle. Dancing toward the front of the net. He's checked. He scores! Gavin Cornforth takes it all the way home himself. The Saints win it 5-4 in overtime. 44 seconds into OT, and Gavin Cornforth for the Saints comes up large again. His 25th of the year, wins it in overtime. He snuck through the contact and finished it past Moffitt. The Saints win 5-4.
Schultz getting a lot of shifts out there, is taking it draw the other way. Sioux City will win the draw. Luke Gary, left wing side, trying to feed it out front, shot, and goal! He got it in, Gavin Gary from Luke Gary. All that delay got our guys rested, and Luke finds Gavin for the one-timer wide open in front of the net. And he found its way through the leg pads to the back of the net. Sioux City takes a 4-2 lead.
Looking for Gherkin. It's taken away by Ryder. Into the offensive zone. A little bit of space, but couldn't pull the trigger. Now finds McDonald, and Godziak makes the save. Rebound chance, they score. It's Nolan Geertz. His first career USHL goal in Madison. They lead 2-1.
Biskins will track it down there. Biskins, Benson, Gully in onside. He's got Benson. Benson right on, Noling the save. Benson back in front, and Gully scores, and this game is tied.
Don't knocked away. The Riders turn back the other way. Ogren brings it in, drops it back for Hajime. Shot, goal!
Santilli fans were offside and had to touch up. Here Poulin, stripped to the puck by Slice. Slice worked it for Messick. Hey! Shoots and scores.
Behind him. One back by Klee. Here's Veo. Middle of the ice, across the way for Klee. A minute to go in the second period. David Klee out in front. Rapkin fires. He scores. Ivan Rapkin. His 16th of the season. A beautiful assist by David Klee. And the Lumberjacks, they get back to within 2.
As he tried to leap and get out of the way. Carcone broke up that rush, and Zeller's coming in. He's got Gully going to the net. Zeller's goal, and that's the record! Number 42 for number 34! Will Zellers went to the net, and for the 42nd time this season, he scores! Green Bay with a 3-2 lead at 14-19. He came into this game tied with Kevin Granado. Zellers shot the goal! Gamblers lead 4-3.
Some really impactful plays this week in the USHL, and they are all your top plays of the week. Now let's take a look at the standings. There is not a lot of time left in this regular season, but there still are big points on the line, and a lot can change in the last few games. As we begin April and trek toward the Clark Cup playoffs, there's still a lot to be determined, and especially in the Eastern Conference, it is still a logjam at the top. The top 4 teams can still finish in any order, and the top 2 will get a bye in the first round. They are fighting for that in the Eastern Conference. In the West, the top 2 seeds and the byes most likely decided already, with Lincoln and Sioux Falls in whichever order they finish, 3 points apart right now, with Lincoln leading the way. The 3rd and 4th seed, Waterloo and Sioux City, those are probably set as well, but still, in the final few games, there can be some movement there as these teams finish off the last couple weekends in the USHL regular season. As the calendar turns to April, that means there's not a lot of time left to lock in your seeding for the Clark Cup playoffs. Just 4 to 5 games remaining for most teams in the league, and a couple of big matchups still coming up. Starting this weekend, the top teams in each conference meeting. Lincoln in Madison for 2 games against the Capitals. That surely will have an impact on both conferences at the top. Also, Waterloo taking on a couple of Eastern Conference teams this weekend on the road. That will have an impact on the Eastern Conference standings in Muskegon and Youngstown. And then also at the top of the East, Dubuque on the road in Sioux City and Omaha. A lot can change in the Eastern Conference still to come. The Western Conference at the top, there's still some things that can change with a 3-point gap between Lincoln and Sioux Falls. There's still a lot to play for in the final few games of this regular season, and then for the Clark Cup after that. That does it for this week's U Show. Thanks so much for tuning in. My name is Josh Starr, and we'll see you next week.